Welcome to our another new presentation. Today our presentation topic is Mastering the Calculation of Gross Domestic Product, GDP. Presented by Options and Ideas. Let's start our presentation. Introduction to Gross Domestic Product GDP. What is GDP? Why is GDP important? It is a key indicator of a country's economic health. Used to compare the economic performance of different countries. Helps in economic planning and policy formulation. Real-life applications. Governments use GDP to design policies. Investors use GDP data to make informed decisions. Components of GDP. Consumption, C, the largest component of GDP. Includes all private expenditures by households on goods and services like food, rent, healthcare, etc. Investment, I, spending on capital goods that will be used for future production. Includes business investments in machinery, construction of buildings, and changes in inventories. Government spending, G, total government expenditures on goods and services. Includes spending on defense, education, public services, but excludes transfer payments like pensions. Net exports, NX. The value of a country's exports minus its imports. Positive net exports add to GDP, while negative net exports subtract from it. Formula. Calculation methods. 3 approaches to calculate GDP. Production, output, method, measures GDP by adding up the value added at each stage of production. Income method, focuses on calculating GDP by summing all incomes earned in the production process. Expenditure method, the most common approach, calculating GDP as the sum of all expenditures made in the economy. Production, output, method. How it works, GDP is calculated by summing the value added at each stage of production in the economy. Value added, the difference between the cost of inputs and the price of outputs at each stage. Example. Income method. How it works, calculates GDP by summing all the incomes earned by factors of production in the economy. Components include wages and salaries, payment to labor, rents, payment for the use of land, interest, payment for the use of capital, profits, earnings of entrepreneurs. Formula and example. Expenditure method. Measures GDP by calculating the total spending on the country's final goods and services during a specific period. Why it is widely used, directly reflects the demand side of the economy. Formula and example. Real vs nominal GDP. Nominal GDP, the GDP measured at current market prices. Reflects both changes in quantity and price levels, inflation. Real GDP, adjusted for inflation to reflect the true value of goods and services. More accurate for comparing economic output over time. Importance, real GDP gives a clearer picture of economic growth without the distortion of inflation. Example. GDP per capita. Definition. GDP per capita is the GDP divided by the country's population. Represents the average economic output per person. Significance, useful for comparing the economic prosperity of different countries. Higher GDP per capita generally indicates a higher standard of living. Example. Conclusion. GDP is a comprehensive measure of a country's economic activity, covering production, income, and expenditure. Different methods, production, income, expenditure, provide various perspectives on economic activity. Real vs nominal GDP helps in understanding true economic growth. GDP per capita is essential for comparing the economic well-being of citizens in different countries. Apologies, but I can provide the content for the current slide based on the provided information. Let me know if you need assistance with anything else. Consistency is key when it comes to brand identity. Ensure that your brand message, visual elements, and overall tone of communication are cohesive across all platforms and touch points.
Thanks for the watching video. If you want more information related to investment plans, please contact us in specific details through and like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to press bell icon to get more interesting videos.